Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Sweetheart, remember the first time I introduced you to the Buffalo Bills, my favorite football team?
It's my favorite now, but I can still remember when you introduced that to me. It was weird.
For me, it was pretty easy because you know what? I loved my Bills. I loved what was going on with them, right? A lot of excitement. What could go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's not the same and it's not as easy when you're looking to introduce your children to your Filipina girlfriend or fiance for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And that is what we're going to actually discuss in this video right now. We have gotten a ton of comments in YouTube, Facebook, you name it, right, about this subject, but we've been hesitant to create a video because there really isn't a one-size-fits-all answer to this question about when you should introduce your kids to your Filipina girlfriend or fiance, right?
Not all children are the same,
No, not all Filipinos are the same.
and the situation will be different too.
Very different, right? How my children responded and how Angelica responded might be very different than what you might be experiencing. However, we wanted to give our perspective and what our learnings were based on our experience. And you might be able to recognize some things that might be able to help you in this video. But I will say this, I think there is one golden rule that all men should follow no matter what when it comes to introducing your kids to any girlfriend, whether she's Filipina or not. And that is, don't give a about anybody else but those kids, right? Don't worry about what the ex-wife might think. Don't worry about anybody else's feelings about how they may view your new relationship, right? Only concern yourself with, hey, how are my kids going to feel? Are they going to be excited? Are they going to be sad? How's all that going to go down? And how can I make that introduction be the best introduction possible, right? Because all that other stuff is going to happen anyways. Whether you tell them now or whether you wait
later.
for 10 years,
They're gonna say something. The external energy.
It's all going to say something. But you know what makes it worse? If there's one thing as role models and as fathers we should do is we shouldn't keep the secrets from the kids, right? And what can happen is if you're kind of keeping the relationship a secret for a long time, I'm not talking about a couple weeks, right? I'm talking about like extended periods of time, like you've been talking to this Filipina for over a year and you haven't introduced her to your kids yet because you have some kind of fear going on in your head, right? That's actually kind of keeping a secret from your kids, right? And what do you think is going to happen when you eventually do tell them about her? Which you're going to have to if you're serious, right? The longer you wait to tell your children, this is my belief, the longer you wait, the worse it makes it because you're keeping something from your children. You're not being open with your children about your life and about who could possibly be coming into their life. As young as kids can be, kids of all ages, even really young kids, they want to feel like they're included in your life, especially after you may separate and get divorced from, that original family, right?
Yeah, but also children, even if they're very, very young, like 6, 7, 8, they can sense that something is up,
Oh yeah, they're gonna sense. They're gonna know that you're talking to somebody and that you're happier than normal. They're gonna notice these things, right? And they're also gonna notice, why is he not telling us about her, right? Why doesn't he want us to know her?
Yeah.
Are we not important to her?
The worst case scenario would be them knowing it first before you telling it them. Seeing a text message from from your phone, or a picture from your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst thing that you can do to your kids.
It is. It's that would be kind of a bad way to find out. So while, there are no kids that are the same, that would be my number one rule is just make sure that you tell them as soon as possible when you're ready.
Yeah.
And the longer you prolong it out of fear of how they may respond, probably the worse it's going to be.
Just don't give a crap
about anybody else. The only thing that matters is you, her, and the kids. Period. Another perspective that we can share about when you should really introduce your Filipino girlfriend or fiance to your children has to do with her. Okay? And this comes down to emotional intelligence. It comes down to understanding her feelings and actually caring about her feelings. And one of the things that went through my head very early on when I was deciding if I should introduce my children to Angelica was how she would feel. And if I didn't introduce them to her right away, how that would make her feel. She's a loving person. She's caring. She's got a lot of siblings. You know, me withholding that from her and saying, you know what? I'm not ready to introduce my kids to you yet.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel if I did that?
I think deep inside, I think I would definitely understand your timeline, but deep inside, like, okay, but what makes you, hold it off? Like, what makes it you to take it longer?
Would you wonder why I'm not?
Yeah, why? Am I not the only one? Or is he dating someone in America? Or why? Is he not sure with me?
Well, it causes anxiety.
Yeah. Especially if you're LDR.
Exactly. If your Filipino girlfriend is that special to you, you're supposed to be open, right? Now, I'm not saying, introduce your kids to her the first week after you meet her.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I introduced my kids about 3.5, maybe 4 months after I met Angelica, right? Once I really knew that, we had a good, solid relationship, right? And we were more than just friends, right? And that there was a pretty large percentage that we were going to be together eventually, right? And I'm sure a lot of men watching this video, they're either at that stage or have been at that stage before. But you agree that, if you had to tell one thing to the guys, it would be the longer you hold it from a Filipina,
the more,
the less trust?
Yep. Definitely. It will create a lot of scenarios in my brain and in your Filipina's brain, because Filipinos are kind of anxious whenever they are in a long distance relationship. So you really have to make them feel that they are part of your world, even if you are in America.
Exactly. And bring them into your world. And that includes your children as well. Okay. Now, another perspective that we're going to talk about right now might not be so popular with the Filipinos.
What is it?
It just comes down to if that Filipina isn't really overly wanting to connect and be introduced to those kids, it might be something that would concern you.
Yeah.
I mean, if Angelica was not off the wall excited to meet my children, I would kind of be hesitant on feeling if that relationship was going to really go farther, right? Because if I'm going to bring her into my life, of course I want her to be excited about meeting my children. If she's not excited about meeting your children, and if she's not asking to meet your children, and if she's just it's okay, I don't want to meet them, or if she says, I'm too shy, I don't want to meet them yet, or she's really standoffish and just doesn't want to talk with them, or she's afraid to meet them. Yeah, some of it might be shyness, right?
Yeah, but isn't it fair to say that it doesn't mean she loves you less, but maybe she's just a shy person, at that point.
Well, it might not mean that she loves him less, right? But it might mean that she's not too thrilled about having stepkids in that relationship.
That's a very interesting topic.
Which, it doesn't matter how much somebody loves you. If that doesn't work, if you got kids and she's wants to be the center of your attention all the time and doesn't want to have that interfered with the kids, right? Once you're together, that's going to be problems.
Well, that's why you have to know. You have to know your values and beliefs and what you believe in the first part of your relationship, in the beginning of your relationship. Ask her, ask your Filipina, do you are you okay with me having stepkids? Are you okay with me having kids and you're gonna be a stepmom? Because I think those are the first question you ask when you're dating online.
Well, yeah, it's not even about asking those first questions, right? That's like anybody can say, yeah, I'm okay, but actions speak louder than words, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And if after a few months that Filipina has said, yeah, I'm okay having stepkids, but has shown no real interest in actually wanting to meet your kids, and it kind of shies away from it and isn't kind of pushing towards that, then you gotta question that a little bit. You gotta think about that a little bit, guys. And I'm sorry for any Filipinas that I might be making mad here, but our job is to kind of shoot it straight, real. And our job is also to make sure that, we want people to be happy. We want people to have successful relationships, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be entering this thing, right? Thousands of miles apart, right? And then you're going to be bringing this Filipina into your world here, right? With your children. You're all going to be integrated together, right? That's got to work. You got to make it work.
Well, it's different too if your stepkids will be like, the same age as you, like 24 or in their, adult age, because I have a friend, she's a Filipina, she's like, in her 20s, but then her stepkid is also like in her age, so she didn't really force it to like actually reach out to the to the child itself, because her stepkid is not really as interested anymore.
Well, I understand that if they're older, okay? And granted, when I'm talking about this right now, my kids were very young, right?
Yeah.
And they still are very young, right? So they're in that more fragile stage, right? But it's probably even harder as they get older, to introduce
I think so.
somebody, because then their views change and everything. But again, even with older kids, this is my perspective, but I firmly believe that the longer you keep it from them, the more resentment they will feel that you're keeping it from them. And I think that makes it harder to introduce them later on down the road. I mean, heck, you might be introducing them to your children, and your children might be older than your Filipina fiance or girlfriend. That could happen, right?
This topic is so like big. We can talk a lot about
we
this.
probably need to make a whole nother video for that one,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going to have to do a lot of research on that one, and maybe we can even invite somebody onto our channel to talk about that a little bit that has some real life experience with that. But I truly do believe that the longer you wait, the harder it gets. And the only reason why we wait is out of fear of what they are going to think about who we chose to be with, right? That they'll think, that they'll disapprove.
I think you just have to follow what Nike's brand is saying. Just do it.
Yes. Just do it. If you feel like it's the time to introduce her to your kids, go for it, right? You should be excited about that, right? There is nothing about your relationship with your Filipina that you should be afraid of. You shouldn't be afraid to let anybody know about it. You should be sharing it with the world. And that's one experience that I did have, bringing Angelica into my life. I shared that with everybody. My mother, my father, my kids. And you know what? It couldn't have turned out better. My mother treats her like her own. They call her Tinkerbell, okay? My father, even though they live in another state in Buffalo, where we're from, go Bills, they love her too.
Oh, yeah.
Never once did I hear from them, but she's a little younger. Isn't that a little weird, Brian? Da, 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 da.
I think they like it better.
I mean, they might think that in their brain, but they knew her because she actually wanted to get to know them, right? And I would encourage any Filipina here to do that,
And I think if you have a great Filipina, it's really not hard to introduce her to your family. It's very easy because actually she will reach out first before you actually introduce her to your family.
So as promised, we want to share with you the moment that I actually told my kids for the first time about Angelica. And we're going to leave you with that. So enjoy this and keep it real. Okay, so you're asking me a lot of questions in the car. And I told you I would talk to you about it when we got home. Okay, and one thing I don't want to do ever is I don't want to lie to you kids at all.
Do you love her?
But if you ever,
Stop.
if we ever hear me talking to somebody or see me messaging somebody, I don't want to lie to you or try to hide that from you and tell you that I'm not talking to somebody doing this. Because I enjoy talking to her a lot.
What will we do now?
Did you guys think that anyways?
Yes. We were thinking that. We were thinking if you're going to have a kind of girlfriend. No girlfriend. That's kind of cute.
Yes, we are in a relationship. And
Daddy, you have a boy girlfriend. Stop talking. What if Daddy has a boy? Stop.
She makes me very happy, and Daddy's very happy. And so I'll introduce you to you. But there is one thing about her: she lives very far away.
Where?
Very far away.
Where does she
And that's
live?
where I traveled to when I went away after our Disney cruise. I think it was after our Disney cruise. Yeah. It was in another country. That's kind of where I met her and talked to her. Okay, I met her. She lives in the Philippines, and it's a long distance relationship, but it's kind of a good thing because it allows me to spend all my time with you guys for a long time. And to really get to know her very, very well, and to be good best friends too. Kind of important that I talk to you guys about, because I don't want you to find out from anybody else or find out that Daddy is seeing somebody and need to tell you guys first.
So how long ago did you meet her?
Almost 2 months.
How did you meet her? That's the thing that I thought was.
I joined a community of people that just to talk to people, because I was kind of lonely, and I would just talk to people, and not really thinking that I would meet anybody. And I just so happened to meet somebody, and it just so happens that she's way over there. And
You only can talk to her on the phone.
But I'll go and see her. I'll go travel. I did just go and see her. When you were in North Carolina, I was visiting her.
Oh. When I was with my
mom? So that's when I go see her, I won't do it on, I won't do it on our time. I'll do it on the weekends that I don't have you guys here and all that stuff.
Okay. So how much are you going to be seeing her?
I wish more, but seeing it I have to fly halfway around the world.
Yeah.
Probably maybe once a month.
Can we come with you one day? One.
That's going to be a conversation Mommy and I'll have to have down way down the road. Her name is Angelica.
Ooh.
She is from Cebu in the Philippines. She speaks perfect English, but she also speaks Cebuano, which is what, in that song I was playing, she was singing in Cebuano, and then some in American.
Wait, how old?
But this is her.
See something.
Come over and see if you want.
She's so pretty.
She's a very, very nice person. That's not her, that's her friend. And she's a goofball too.
Yay!
She is funny.
I'm very funny.
I know you're very funny.
I'm itchy. And Caitlin is a guitarist.
She's an artist and a musician.
How
Anybody
old
have any
is
questions?
she? I'm actually 2. I'm actually right here.
She's younger, but if you meet the right person, it doesn't matter.